so that we can all watch this later. You guys have liked the fact that I send you guys a link to do this again afterwards? Okay, cool. All right, so I'm kind of finding the center of my page. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. And then I'm gonna just draw a circle. Okay, now we know where this section is. If you can do what you want, but we are doing this. Yeah. Okay, well, it's gonna take 2 hours. For you, since you have a bigger page, I'd use the outside of your tape roll. Nice. Looks good, looks good. Okay, so it's your choice.
It's just to highlight the sun, is that it?
It's just to highlight the sun. So, but we are also going to need these to be really, really transparent. So once you put it down, if you have digging in deep with your graphite, we're gonna like erase some of it because again, watercolor is super transparent. So this, you're going to be able to see the graphite through that. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. I'm sorry?
I didn't get your last.
No problem. Okay, so since your graphite circle is so dark, we are gonna go around and we're just going to lift it until it's more of a shadow. Make sense? Don't let me forget my erasers there though, because I'm really bad at leaving things everywhere. I'm going to leave mine dark until the very end, until we're finished sketching, just so you guys can see everything. But then before we start painting, I'm gonna go over and just erase everything. Does that make sense? We're okay with that? All right, perfect. All right. So we're gonna draw everything, except for the grass. We're not drawing the grass, but we are going to draw the ghost, the swing, and the tree. All right. So step one, let's get this cute little ghost guy in there. Let me see. So while I'm looking at him, I am noticing like how close he is to the bottom, how much space is at the top, kind of thing. So this is how I'm gauging how large I want him to be by comparing him to the circle around him. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Welcome to thinking like an artist. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a little circle in the middle. This is gonna be the top of his head. And then I'm just gonna draw 2 lines down.
Looks like a finger.
Again, I'm going to walk around before we start painting and give you guys. Yeah, I can't not see that. Morning, Leia. No, I have another one. You keep that until the end. Yeah. And then at the bottom, instead of going straight across, I'm gonna do kind of like a wave. So I'm gonna go down and then back up and then down and then back up. So think of it like I'm doing a smiley face connected to a frowny face, connected to a smiley face, connected to a frowny face. I love it. I mean, this ghost has feet, so I feel like it's just a person with a sheet over top of him. So think of like a Pac-Man ghost, but just stretched out. It's essentially what we're drawing. Okay. So then once we have our little Pac-Man ghost, we're gonna draw the eyes. I purposefully did one bigger than the other because I think it's really cute. You guys don't have to. Just be aware that the larger the eyes are, the cuter it's going to be because our brains are wired for cute, big eyes. Can everyone see that okay? Okay, perfect. And then underneath, we're gonna draw a straight line, right, for the swing. So you can grab something straight if you got it. I'm gonna use the paper that I use to test everything on. And I can tell that it is almost like there's about 1/8 of an inch underneath the sun area. I'm gonna call it the sun area, even though it's not. So I'm gonna put it there. And then you can see that it stretches out almost to the very edge. So I'm kind of going right here. I'm going down. This is where it's going to start. And then I'm going in about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch, going down here. So this is how big my swing is. And then I'm just going underneath again. And I'm just going to replicate that about 1/8 of an inch thick. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Nice. I'd probably round these out a little bit if you wanted to, but you can make it, you can keep it that way if you want. See how mine are like super round? Cute. I love them. Nice, guys.
It's too close.
No, it's fine because we're going to use a gradient. Oh my God, he's adorable. I love it. She's adorable. I love it. Is it a she because like the bottom's flared out a little bit, like a skirt? I love it. It's very adorable. Nicely done, guys.
Is this okay, or is it too small, or
He's a little
a
small.
little bit too high?
He's not really high. We just need to make him thicker. So we just need to bring him out to about here. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do the rest?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Don't forget you have my eraser if you don't want to, if you need a good one. So for the feet, I know a lot of people find feet, like the front of feet, kind of intimidating to do. Real quick trick. We are just going to do half circles. So about halfway into my my bench, because I don't want him to look like he's like floating on top. So about halfway in, I'm going to do a small line and then a half circle and another small line right next to it and a half circle. And that is how you accomplish cute little front feet. And then we're just going to draw legs going up. Okay, so my ghost is a little too leggy for my liking, so I'm gonna lower the bottom of the sheet. Again, the less the feet stick out, the cuter it's going to look. It's like a combination of a few different things that make him look super adorable. And it's the little tiny stubby legs with the big eyes. And that's really all you got. So you have to make them count. Okay. Nice. Adorable. The legs do have to connect into the ghost. Yes.
What are the little red?
They're just stripes.
No.
Oh, these?
Yeah.
So these are like just acrylic copper for like what is the word I'm looking for? For like fireflies kind of thing. I did bring different colors Sharpie, so I have silver, I have gold, and I have copper, and I have white, depending on, and I'm going to pass these out at the end, and you can all use them to create cute little, like a nice little glittery effect at the very end. But again, it's going to be mixed media. It's not a watercolor piece at that point. Tricky, tricky. Very nice. I love how cute and stubby those are. She's adorable. I really want to put like a little hat on her. Yeah, nice.
I could do that.
You could do that. I believe you. Nice, Leia. Wait, well done in catching up. Oh, a little bow on top of her head. Adorable. Okay, so let's do the tree now. Rule of thumb for a tree, the base is always the thickest. Where it's connected to the tree is always the thickest, and it's going to get thinner as it stretches out and pulls away. So the ground is the thickest part, and then as it climbs higher, it gets thinner. And then all the branches are the thickest attached to the tree, and they get thinner as they stretch away. Make sense? Okay, cool. So the way that I did this is because I am right-handed, I think I'm going to move my ghost over here so I'm not like over top of it. Is that easier for you guys? Okay, there we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is my ground is, I'm just gonna draw like a really quick line across, and this is going to be like the ground, just so I know exactly where the tree comes out of. And then I am creating kind of like almost like a bend, if you will. Like, see how this is like a slight curve? And then about half an inch over top, I'm going to just bring out a branch. But with trees, try and make it no hard corners, if that makes sense. So I could do it like this, and that actually does look pretty decent, but to create more organic shapes, you want a lot more round, curved. You know, straight is a very industrial thing. Yes, 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 yes. So it's like a hybrid kind of thing. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Okay. So then I'm going to put one branch out coming out here. So right now I'm just kind of creating the skeleton of my tree, if you will. So I'm putting a branch there. I'm going to extend this up here and then kind of go over here. So this is all the lines I have so far. We're going to build it out. I just want to make sure you guys have the skeleton first. Nice. Okay. This needs to come out farther because it's going to be attached. See how this is attached? The swing is attached to the branch. So it has to come out farther. No problem. Nice. Very good. Love how light that is. That's great. Nice.
Physically could never hang off that.
We're gonna make it thicker, right? We're gonna make it thicker. So I'm going to thicken this up a bit. And I'm making it thicker than the one up there too. So again, remember it's thickest against the trunk, and then it kind of gets thinner and then branches out. So about right here, I'm gonna bring it down. And then this one can just go off the page. Hopefully that is strong enough that it will be able to hold our little ghost friend. All right, so let's see how that looks. Right now, all we have done now is added the dimension of this branch, the main supporting branch. All right. Nice. Okay. Absolutely. You see how these have hard edges though?
Yeah.
So the thing with trees is we are going to kind of round. I love what you did. We're just going to like round out the hard edges. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So instead of here, we're going to connect it here, right? And then like that.
It's very good. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And now that you see it, you have a better idea? Okay, cool. Let me just erase the insides so that you can see it a little better.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, very nice.
You have like
Thank you.
a really nice creepy tree. I like it. Ooh, also something else. See how this edge is thicker than this edge?
Yeah.
So it's always going to be thickest attached to the trunk. So we're going to bring this guy up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then this is going to be erased.
Yeah. I'll let you do the rest.
Oh, you're going to try. You're going to try. Don't think you're getting out of it. Very nice, Leia. We're just going to like probably thicken this one up because it has to hold the the swing, right? So we're probably just gonna like thicken that up a bit, but everything else really nicely done. Okay. Yeah, I thickened it up on purpose just because I was like, that's a very thin branch. But yeah, you follow what you want. Nicely done, guys. Nice. How do you feel about this part right here?
It's too wide here.
Okay.
It should be wider here. And then narrower here.
Yep. Nicely done. So one trick for trees too is that they kind of overlap near the edges where other branches are coming out. So if you do something more like that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
what I just did?
It looks more
like a little more organic, right?
organic.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
word.
perfect.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. I did not, no. Yeah, absolutely. Do you need it right now? Yeah. This works? Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so we have the main supporting branch. Awesome. Honestly, the tree is going to be the hardest part of this because trees are so hit or miss. Like they either look like a tree or they look real wonky. So don't worry, I'm going to help you guys so that they're good. I see Marilyn shaking her head. Don't worry, I'm coming for you. Nobody's going to be left behind, right? Okay, so the last one that I'm going to do, this guy, I want him to come out kind of here because I'm kind of thinking of where behind the trunk he's coming out of. Does that make sense? So I'm always making sure that my branches connect properly to the tree. So I'm going to say that this branch is going to come out and this is going to be behind the rest of the tree right here. And then he's coming up right here. So I'm going to erase that. And then I'm going to, no, that's good. Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you. And then I'm going to bring this guy over here. So one thing to notice when I'm doing trees, and this can be a little more advanced, so if you don't understand this, please don't worry. But instead of looking at the branch for trees, look at the shape the branches create. Look at the negative space, right? So the space in between. So instead of looking at how circular this is right here, look at this shape that the branches create. Does that make sense? Does that help? Okay. So the negative space always defines the subject matter, right? So if you're getting stuck and you don't know why something looks weird, switch your perspective and look at the negative space instead. And then I'm going to bring this guy up right here just to fill a bit of that space. That is not good. So then I'm erasing this. I'm erasing that. Okay. You know what? I'm happy with that. It's a little bit creepy, and that's what I'm after. Okay. Hey, you said it, not me. Okay. Barry, you gotta try.
Try.
Okay. I'll help you after. Okay, so look at these spaces in between, right? So look at this shape right here, right? The shape is almost like a teardrop off of the page. You see that? This shape almost looks like kind of like a characterized flame almost right here. So look at these shapes that the branches create. Does that help? And then if you don't like it, I will 100% come and help you with them.
Doesn't look like a tree.
You don't think it looks like a tree? Would you like some help? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the trees from the forest.
I
It's
actually
this
really,
part.
okay, it's this part that you don't
Yeah,
like.
I don't
Okay,
like that at
so
all.
this part is really thick here and
Yeah.
then really thin here.
So
So
it can't
what,
be that way, it should be thicker there and then thinner there.
yes, so what I would do is probably take this here and then go up, right? And then I would probably kind of do one of these. I'm trying to just put it. So then if we erase,
It's never gonna be perfect though.
it never
tree's
is.
Never gonna be perfect.
Trees aren't supposed to be perfect, right? How does that look better?
That looks better. This thing hanging off, it just doesn't look right. I don't know why.
Which thing?
The branch, is the branch okay that's holding the swing?
I do think so, yes. I would just make this thinner right here and then it coming off.
I made it thicker because I thought it would.
That's okay. That's the nice thing about art. It can defy gravity.
Thank you.
Not sure it looks like a tree.
No, that looks good. You did a nice job. Absolutely. It does look like a tree. I'd probably make this branch thicker. But if you don't
This
want
one?
to, yeah,
Like
it's
this?
super thin. Yeah, I'd probably like just bring it up to like here, kind of maybe.
Oh.
What do you think?
Sure.
Do you like it?
Anything you do.
That looks great, Leah. Nicely done.
I didn't realize to
Yeah, but no, you did a great job. Nicely done. Do you like them? I actually think they're very, very successful. Nan, that looks great. Nice.
Mine is not
I
like
have too
yours,
much
but
negative
No, Renee, it looks great.
But it's a tree.
It looks good. I'd probably just like,
Okay.
just instead
Yes.
of like hard points where it meets, if you like round it off, it kind of gives it an organic feel, if you will.
Yeah.
Nice. This looks great. You like it? Eh. Awesome. Okay, you did like such a good job. All right. So, do you want me to fix it up a bit?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. All right, so instead, I'm just gonna round this off right here. Yep, this can come up.
Drumming is not my forte.
That's okay. You know, the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you'll get. I promise you. Drawing was my biggest struggle as well when I first started art. Oh, my eraser is like dead.
Here, take this back. I have a eraser on the back here.
Okay, so instead of this coming out here, I'm gonna bring it like here. And then let's do this. And then again, rounding out. Okay, I need to refill that. Okay, what do you think? Improvement?
Very good.
Okay. I just need you to like it. That's the thing. So then I really like how this guy's coming out. I'm just going to refine him just a little bit, right?
It's well done. Yeah. Well done.
Yes, you did a very good job. Like the skeleton is there.
Skeletons in the closet.
Okay, so see how thick this is, and it looks weird that it's just going out. So I'm gonna bring it up like this. So this connects here, and then it just continues up. And then this small part right here.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm very bad at drawing trees.
That's okay. It takes, like, what do you think of that? Do you like it?
Excellent.
Okay, cool. And then yeah, you can just like round that guy out. Woo. There you go. Okay, so everyone's got their trees that they're super happy with. All right. Do we need to draw in the strings, or are we okay? Can we freehand that after? Or do we want to draw in the strings? Draw them in? Okay. So drawing in the strings, super easy. You're just going to go in a bit and then go like straight up. So it's going to connect right here. I'm going to go down. And then I am creating like a little circle on the bottom. And then right there. And really, there you go. So now, if you have pressed hard, we're going to lift some of that up. We don't need to lift up a lot because the tree and the swing are so dark that we don't have to worry about the graphite there, but we do have to worry about the ghost and that circle that we put in the background. So everything that's black, you don't really have to erase, but everything that is light colored, you will have to make sure is really nice and light. Like even his eyes, you don't really need to erase all that much. We're just lifting, we're not erasing. If yours are already light, you don't need to erase. There you go. That's all I'm erasing is just the ghost and the background. Would you like this?
I don't need it right now.
Okay. Yes. Perfect. Yep. Because it's so transparent, we want that ghost to be very light. Nice. Exactly. Ah. All right. All right, we can set aside our pencil eraser. Woohoo! Step one complete. And now we can start playing with some water. All right. So what's the rule of the ghost? What do we think we're going to do with the ghost? Are we going to wet the ghost? No. Amazing, Marilyn. Thank you. It is, yes. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to grab my number 4 brush. So like a medium brush, you can also use a small brush. And the first thing we're going to do is the yellow. So I'm going to take my clean water and I am going to carve out just with water the outside of the ghost. So we're doing the background wet on wet, but because the ghost is white and watercolor is so transparent, we really want to make sure that we don't put any water inside the ghost. Does that make sense? On the background, but the first thing we're doing is carving out the ghost. So we're going the outside of the ghost with water because we don't want any paint to flow into the ghost since we want the white of the paper to be the white of the ghost. Does that make sense? Yes, we are doing the yellow, but I'm going to be like wetting way outside of the yellow. You can also go over top of anywhere where that's black because the black is going to be so dark that no color is going to shine through. Does that make sense? The legs too cannot be, yeah, the legs also, don't wet them. Yep, go between the legs. I am using a number 4, but if you need a smaller brush, go for a smaller brush. Yeah, I'm going a bit beyond the yellow, yes. I'm sorry? Yes, yes. Yes, so I've done a little bit beyond the circle, just so that we have a space for it to bleed out to, right? Yep, I'm doing it over the swing. Because the swing is so dark, it can, it will block out any color underneath. Make sense? So then I'm switching to a medium brush. I got my number 8 or my large brush, and I'm going with a yellow ochre, which is this mustard yellow color. And I'm going to first put him around the edge of my ghost. So instead of like doing a full brush stroke, I'm just dabbing and dropping. So I'm just dropping paint and allowing the water to transport it where it wants to go. And then I'm going to continue dabbing out until I get that like nice circular shape. And again, I'm not doing brush strokes. I'm simply dropping or depositing the paint onto the paper, and I'm allowing the water to transport it where it wants to go. Does that make sense? I think you need to add more water, yes. If you don't have a nice bleeding effect, please add more water. Please. Ooh, yeah, like this. So you need to add more water here,
Right.
because that's not moving, but that is the effect we want to look for. Yes. That works. Nice. So if you're not getting that bleeding effect that you're looking for, Marilyn, what you can do is, do you mind if I touch your painting? So what you can do is simply just pick up some water and just
Well, I
add it.
was gonna do that,
to
and
the
then I thought I shouldn't do that, and then I said, no, I will do that.
Oh,
and I wouldn't
please
that.
do. Yes. Yes. So if you're not getting the bleeding effect that you want, just simply add more water to it. And like, look what happens if I just touch the edge of my brush and the rest of it stays wet. Let me do one more time. Hold on. So really wet brush, and then I'm just going to touch the edge of the paint, and then see
Then it'll
how
bleed.
it, and then because I was only touching this amount with my paint, and then the rest of this is all water, it gives it space to go. Does that make sense?
If it works, yes.
So I'll show that on camera so you guys can see. I am going to use a darker color. I'm going to just use a red. I'm going to use a new, that piece is kind of done for. Okay, so let's say this is the edge of our sun, right? So I don't have that bleeding effect going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm just going to touch the tip of the brush to it. And that way, what happens is that this amount has the paint, and then the rest of the brush has the water. So it allows space for the paint to move. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain. So if I just touch the edge of it, and then because my brush is wet, I've now wet this whole spot, but only the tip was touching. So it just gave it all that spot to move into. It just, like, this section is wet, and because only the tip of my brush touched the color and the rest is all water, it gives it space to move. Does that make sense? It's a hard concept to try and explain. Yes. Yes. So my brush is wet right now, and I'm going to hold it so that, so I'll put water on my brush again so you can see it, so color. So there's a difference between holding it upright and getting like a really nice thin line, and then holding it sideways and getting a super thick line. So like the more of the brush is now touching, right? So if I take that concept with some clean water and a wet brush, and I go to the tip of where my color is and hold it sideways, I'm now wetting the paper and giving the color space to move because I've wet the paper. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Do you have any questions? So again, I'm wetting my brush and holding my brush sideways so that I can wet a larger area of the surface. And then I'm just touching the tip to that color and dragging down. And because there's such a large area of wet surface, I've now given the paint space to move because it's now wet. Does that make sense?
It goes beyond.
It's fine. Mine doesn't matter. Mine also went beyond the circle. Okay, so let's make this fun little spooky purple color. Okay, thank you. Thank you for holding me back. I appreciate that. Thank you. Nice. These are really pretty too. I really like those. Good, yeah. Feel free to have as much fun as you want. You can take out multiple paintings if you want. It's nice, guys. Cute.
Not a bad sign.
Not a bad start. Nicely done, guys. What don't you like about it?
No, it's a big sign. That's all.
Okay, okay, that's it. That's it. Yep, just releasing some of the built up tension. I get it. Nicely done, guys. Everyone looks really nice. How you doing, Nam?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's mix this fun, spooky purple color. What we are going to do first is we are going to take our alizarin crimson, which is the pink red. And feel free to mix quite a bit of it because we are going to need a lot of it. Alizarin crimson and either an ultramarine or a phthalo blue. And we want this to be more blue than red. I'm gonna go ultramarine. Nice. Okay, but this is still too red. So I'm gonna add some more blue. And slowly add your blue because blue is such an overpowering color. I tend to do a lot of red and slowly add blue. I also have very high quality paints. Okay, so I am happy with that color. So now what do we think we're gonna do? Yep, we're gonna water all the background up to the yellow. They can touch. The water of the yellow and the water of the purple can touch because we kind of want this nice blending effect. Makes it. Well, not the ghost.
Okay, so we're
Yep, we could do the tree too because the tree is so dark that we don't have to worry about colors bleeding through. I'm only wetting up until the side of the yellow. So I'm just going to wet like right here to the yellow and then out. I'm not wetting my whole thing again. I'm just kind of wetting right here, right to the edge of the yellow and then out. Does that make sense? And I'm using my number 8 brush because we can move quickly with it. Ah, oh my God. Okay, I just wet over top of his little feet, so I have to make sure that dries. So I wet his little feet, but I don't want his little feet wet, so I'm taking my paper towel and I'm just gonna soak up that water that I accidentally put on his feet. Does that make sense? That's okay, because the blue is gonna push it back. So now that your paint or your paper is nice and wet, we're going to really saturate that number 8 brush. And we're gonna especially go into the corners all the way around. So I'm starting by just going all the way around because we want it darkest on the outside and then we want it to fade into a warmer color on the inside, like a lighter color. Yep. So I have the darkness in the corners that I want. And now instead of adding more color and picking up more color, I'm going to rinse my brush and then with water just kind of start dragging in the paint. And then when I get close to the circle, I'm just going to start going in a circular motion. So then once you have that like nice and once you have it all saturated, then you can go in and you can start darkening up the areas that you want darker. So with watercolor, it's a lot of working light to dark. So I'm taking special cautions to go in between the branches of the trees, but I am going, because I'm have a hard time seeing my trees, I'm actually going to pick up some of that paint so that I know where my branches are roughly.
rinse this off and spread.
Yes, yes. Was that a question? Okay. So now that it's wet, I'm kind of just going to continue to like go around it in a circular motion, darkening up where I want it to be really nice and dramatic. Yep, I'm still working on the background. I'm just going like between the tree. There we go. I'm happy with that. Nice. Yes. Now that it's getting wetter, it's very, very nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Yes. I am super proud of you, Barry, for like figuring out how to problem solve that area.
Thank you.
Good job. That's a huge improvement. Nice, Michael. I love the way that that looks. You're gonna put a black hat? I like that. Yes.
I'm working on it.
Oh, Renee, this is gorgeous.
Really?
Oh, I love, like, you got that beautiful watercolor, like, whimsicality, you know? It's the blooms of the paint are just beautiful. Oh, I love this dry brush look that you have going on.
How do you know when that was there? That's just,
Experience.
yeah.
But if you are unsure, then I would say stop.
I should have.
That's okay. No, I love it though. I really like the dry brush quality that you have in it. That adds a lot of movement into your painting. See how like it like brings your eye into the center?
Yeah.
Because of that movement. So like so that's something that you can play with dry brush is it adds movement to a very still object. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I really like it though. Nicely done. Ooh, very nice. Yes. Oh, Leia. Love the color. So dramatic and dark. I love it. Looks great. Nice.
Mine needs to be a bit darker, you think, or no?
It doesn't have to be.
No?
It just depends what kind of what you're going for. What I would do is bring up the purple over here to make it look like less light bulb shaped and more circular shape.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Beautiful, Nan. You really have like a strong understanding of the wet on wet, which is nice.
You say so?
I do. Yes. Oh, there's so much movement in this. See how those dry brush strokes just add like a sense of like a windy day?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. So like dry brush really adds a lot of movement to your paintings. See, mine looks very still, like nothing's moving. Yours looks like there's some wind picking up. So I would almost say like when you're adding, if you're adding the fireflies, which are like these guys, I would almost like add them into the shape of like where your wind is going. And that could like really emphasize the windiness of the day. Also, if you when you add the grass, if you have them all pointing this way, it'll look like wind is blowing through it. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. Oh, the darkness is really nice here. Yeah, adding that color really added a lot of depth. I can't get over the nice blooms that you have going on. How do we feel, guys? Did we enjoy this? The like wet on wet exercise? Okay, so now we've gotten to the really fun part of fanning. So I'm going to soak up any spots that are absolutely soaked with water. Except for right here, like, I don't really want to because like they make such nice sections. So instead I'm just going to fan the rest and let those guys dry. So this is a great opportunity to clean your brushes, get clean water. You can ask me to do it if you want me to. I don't mind. And then we're going to mix our black color. You can if you want to. I'm working with really small containers of water, so I'm probably going to quite a few times. I bought a bunch of these orange cups here because my daughter eats these like, we go through a box of 20 of them like once a week. I really like how there's like, I really like this section that's like bleeding in. I think that's a really nice quality that's happening right now. You like the top? Thank you. Well, I just didn't want to lose my sketch because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see it. This is like the really fun part of watercolor is like these things that you can't really control. Like this this bleedy bit right here that's a slightly different color kind of thing. Like that's what I really like about watercolor is that there is always going to be a part that is like unpredictable. You can control a water up to a certain point, but it is an element for a reason. At home, I'm doing this experiment where I'm using like different water sources because like it like dawned on me that it's such a privilege to be living somewhere that like potable water is just so easily at our fingertips. So like watercolor painting is almost a privilege in that sense that like we can get clean water no matter what. So I'm doing like, I'm sorry? Yes. So I'm doing like some experiments with like water that I grabbed from a puddle. I collected a bunch of rainwater yesterday. Like watered down the remnants of like coffee or something like that. Like just water that you that's just laying there that you wouldn't really think twice about using, but incorporating that into art and seeing the results of like what happens if I use dirty water in art in watercolor. Oh, cool. I've seen a lot of like they're not watercolor paper or paintings, but they're the same concept, but made with coffee and wine. So it's the same process, but you only use wine and you only use coffee, and they're monochromatic. So like you have to really understand like depth of color for that, which is very interesting. Tempera? Tempera color. So are you referring to egg tempera? Tempera? No, just tempera? Vaguely. Are they? Yeah. I honestly have no idea. Okay. I wonder if you could mix those with watercolor paints and they would make your watercolor paints more opaque. Yeah, because I know you can mix gouache with watercolor and it makes a less transparent watercolor paint. Yeah. I've also seen people, because you can make a binding agent for watercolor paints, like to make watercolor paints. And I've seen people turn like mascara palettes into watercolor paints, which is a very, yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. So they made like a binding agent with like gum arabic and air and like some other things. I saw it online and I really want to try it out because it looks really cool to make. It's my retirement plan. All right, getting close. I really like what's happening here. So see how because this dried last, it's almost like pushing. See how because this dried last, it's pushing out the blooms, like it's trying to make space for itself. And because of that, it's pushing the paint up. So that is something interesting that you can incorporate into your own paintings. Like if you wanted this sort of effect, you could purposefully keep one area a lot wetter than the next, and then as it dries, it's going to like push around the paint. I love it. It's so nice. Beautiful. I love the color. I really like what's happening in your bottom right hand corner. I would almost suggest like instead of like blacking it out, maybe working around it, you know? Yes. I love questions. No, you don't have to.
I didn't get bleeding off on this.
Okay.
Can it be done after the fact now, or?
It can be. Do you want me to show you
Yes.
how? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Okay. So what I would do is I would take not a rigid brush, but like
That's a soft.
yeah, I would take a soft brush. I don't really work with rigid brushes. I should because it ruins my brushes, but I don't think about that. Like this brush is already ruined. So I would just do that, and then I would just go in and just do my little circles. Circle, 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 circle. Circle, circle, circle. And then like dab it off. And then circle, 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 circle. I'm doing like I'm lifting, if you will. I'm doing that
Right.
lifting to blend them together. Is that kind of what you meant?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Well,
then-
you know, like you have that nice effect. of-
Yeah.
And mine is
The
solid,
yellow is sort of.
solid.
Yes. So you just need to,
Just keep doing it and
Yep.
doing it.
you can use a rigid brush if you wanted to, because this will ruin your brushes.
This will, what you're doing,
Yeah.
ruins your brushes because you're rubbing them in
Yes,
that way.
you're blunting the ends, so they're not going to be nice and like thin anymore.
You should have a designated brush.
If you want to,
So it's not too.
You know, I went to the dollar store.
there you go.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy a bunch of all these little brushes. If I have to squish down, I'm gonna squish down with the dollar store brushes.
Yeah. You're smart. I tend,
Well, I would buy one for a great granddaughter, because I know anything I have is gonna get me.
I have, my daughter has a very specific set of brushes that only she can use. And sometimes they just go into the garbage.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that's what, because I already threw out two.
okay, so basically it's going back, water and just.
Yep, absolutely. Another thing that you might be able to do,
You wouldn't add color?
you can add color. Yeah, you can add
Would
color.
you then like wet the area down and do that, or?
I would wet all of this yellow again and then out to here, and then I would add color. I would add the yellow, because if you only wet here, it's going to create these. See how right here it like pushed the color? That is because this all dried and then this is still wet. So because it's still wet, it's pushing the colors. So you're going to, if you re-wet it again, it's going to do that same effect. So you're going to have like a double ring around the whole thing, which could be a really cool effect as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know what? Ruin this one, because you have this recording and I will post it. You can try again, but I promise you, you will learn so much more from your mistakes than from doing it right. Don't be afraid to ruin your paintings at this process in your journey, because you guys are such beginners that, you know, you have to get out those really crappy paintings. You know, our society is so worried about not making mistakes, but art is the one place where you are absolutely safe to make a mistake, because honestly, it holds zero consequences. Unless like someone else is paying you for it, it really, you have no pressure on it. You could use it to light a fire if you wanted to. And eventually, if you collect so many paintings, you can write on the back of them and use them as cards around Christmas time. And then everyone thinks that you did like beautiful work, when really you're just like, eh. Okay, so are we ready to mix our dark color? Okay, perfect. So again, I'm using my number 8 brush because I like to use a bigger brush for mixing, because it picks up a lot more water and a lot more paint. I'm going to take my clean water and I'm going to pick up my ultramarine blue, which is like the dark blue that I have. And I'm going to put them up here, and I'm going to keep on picking up more until I get like a solid base amount that I'm happy with. I'm adding water and paint, like a combination of it. This can be as dark as you want, so really don't be afraid of it. And I'm probably going to have to mix up more. Yes. We're mixing the dark, the blackness. Burnt umber, very good, Renee. So like, yeah, just a nice brown. You guys may be doubting your skill, but the way that you guys are answering my questions and you guys have started troubleshooting on your own, like you guys are well on your way. You have made huge improvements from the first week that we were here together. I'm proud of you guys. Good job. It's not black. We're going to add some black over top of it too. Yeah, it's a dark gray color. So this is referred to as a Payne's gray. It is my favorite color ever. Yeah, it's kind of a green. I added too much brown and now it's gone a little bit green. That's okay. Keep it green because the contrast, it'll help it pop. Yeah. And then I'm going to add some black to it. Like a really, really, really dark gray green. Like so dark that it's basically black. You could use black, but I always suggest not to, because black is such a man-made color. If you go out in nature, like nothing is pure black. It always has a little bit of blue, a little bit of green to it, you know? It's always reflecting the colors around it. So then once you have that color, you can start, make sure your tree is dry so that it doesn't bleed, because we want a very hard line here. But you can start adding that color and you're probably going to need a few layers. So feel free to start carving out where that tree is. And don't worry about how dark it is at the moment, because we're going to go over it a few times. Right now, we just want to create the basic shape that we want. So this part up here is, I'm using a number 8 brush. When I get into the thinner trees branches, I'm going to switch down to a number 4 or a number 2. Okay, so my top is still a little bit wet and I don't want to risk it running. So feel free to do the tops on yours. I'm going to go in and do some of the grass detail while I wait for that to dry. Does that make sense? Okay. So I've switched to my number 1 brush. Ooh, we got a number 1 today. And I'm just gonna go in and, okay, so before I start, let's do some practices to make sure that I'm getting the weight I want to add. Okay, that's a good weight. I'm happy with that. Warm up your little wrist. Okay, cool. And the grass will really help add some movement if you choose to into your painting. So if the grass is all leaning towards the right, it's going to look like the wind is coming from the left. If you want it to look like a really still night, then yeah, have them go both directions. I think I'm going to play with the fact that it might be a little bit windy. Because I don't tend to, and I really like the idea. Nice. It's nice.
Thank you.
Do you like it?
I like the tree.
Try and bring this down so that it goes more. Yeah. Yes. There you go. Oh my God, the black cat is so cute. It's a rat? I love it. It's so cute. Nicely done, Michael. I love that little detail. Nice.
I covered up all my pencil lines. So next time.
Yep. Mistakes. We learn. Ooh, beautiful. Very nice. Don't be afraid to really load up your brush when you're doing the paint. Now I'm gonna go in and start with the rest of my trees. Are you leaving early?
No, no. I'm not leaving early now.
Okay.
Looking forward to the rest of the planet.
Perfect. So I'm going in like super dark with my paint, like right off the bat. My paintbrush has way more paint color than it does water. And that's how it's going on super thick and super dark. Before I forget too, while you guys are doing this, if next semester you still want to take this class, but you don't want to brave the snow, I understand, first off. Secondly, because I'm already broadcasting via Zoom, like you guys could just tune in from home. It probably just would be a lot less like one-on-one where I'm not like coming up and looking at it, but if you like raise your hand in the chat, I could definitely answer some questions and whatnot. But that is an option. So if you guys do travel to like down south for the winter, or if you just turn into a hermit and don't exit your house, which I tend to, unless I'm getting paid for something, you can always just tune in via online. Also, continue to check my YouTube channel. Even if you're not in the class, I'm still going to be posting the videos there.
Didn't know you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's where I'm all the links that I send you, that's where I send you to.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, well,
I have like I have a playlist called like watercolor tutorial paintings. So even if you're not in my class next semester, they're still going to be posted there.
if I come, I'll still
You'll still what?
torment you.
I love getting tormented by you, so it's always a pleasure to teach you, Marilyn.
I like watching you now.
Good. Oh, that makes me so happy. I also love your tree. Nicely done.
I missed all these spots before I changed how I.
Yeah, please do the swing, do the ropes, do the ghost's little eyes. Yep, all the same color. So I'm going in with a fancy technique to do my rope, where I'm doing it in like small sections to make it look like the weaving of the rope. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'll go really, really close so you guys can see. So what I'm specifically doing is I'm going in and just like adding in on an angle. Yeah. And it makes it look like it's like the weaving of the rope. But if you want to do a straight line, by all means, it's your painting. I'm just giving you extra options to make it a little fancier if you want to. Mike out. Could I have a printout of the class list so I can take attendance if you don't mind? Okay. Only by the end of the class if you need to. It's not a big deal. Or I could just continue to email you. Your choice. Okay. Just one. Yeah. I'll keep it. Cute.
Thank you.
Very cute. Nice. Oh, I really love your rope. You did like the really nice job with the texture there.
Painting
Oh
this
my
with
God, the
red.
bow. I'm melting. It's so cute.
And I'm trying to lift black. Lifting black.
You
is not
do have a
easy.
fancy fan brush. Look at you.
Screwed up, I'm trying to lift it off.
Okay, good job. Oh, I love the rope. Looks great.
It is interesting. Much nicer than just a line.
I like how yours looks like there's the moon behind it.
Or an egg.
I see the moon, but yeah. Nice. Good for you. That's incredible, Michael. I'm impressed. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, if you want to take this one step further, you can add a little bit of a little hump over top, and that will make it look like the string, the rope, is like wrapping around. And if you have sections that aren't as dark as you want, now's a good time to go over them and darken them up. So mine, particularly right here, I want that to be darker. I'm going to use cadmium red. Thank you.
This hand, I don't know what if you remember. We had hands of bake session, so.
Okay.
Just let me know and I'll take a picture of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so this is week 6. We have 2 more classes. Louise, you were absent last week, right?
Yes.
Okay. You mean like the feet? Oh, yeah, well, I'll give you those after. That's the last step. Okay, so now we can move on to the shoes and the stockings, which I have created all red. So I'm taking my alizarin, I'm taking my cadmium red, and I'm going to mix it with just a hint of alizarin crimson just to make it like a warmer red. And then with a very small brush, I am working with my number 1. I'm going to go in and go all the way around to make it look like, do we all know what Converse look like?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we have the white tips of the shoes, and then the rest is all colored. So I'm going with a red color. So I'm making the tip, the toe of the shoe white, right? And then all the way around red. And then I'm just gonna go up and start adding in tiny little stripes, because this ghost is really nicely color coordinated. This ghost has a sense of style. So the very last step is I have these acrylic Sharpie markers, inks, if you will. Let's see if they all work. That's trash. That's trash. Yeah, that one's okay. So I have silver, white, and a copper that's just meh. I'm really selling the copper, I know. So you can take, I'm gonna pass this around, and you can choose either silver, white, or gold. And you can go around and add like little fireflies around the place. Like so. So I'm going to pass these around. Is anyone, you ready for this? Okay, which color do you want? The copper? Okay, test it out, make sure you like it. Okay. Okay, does anyone want silver or white? Silver? Okay, here you go. No problem. You want the white? Yeah, just add in these little dots. Yeah. Just the small little dots that are around the place. Make like some fireflies. Make yeah. There you go. No worries. You're welcome. Does anybody else want a copper? Okay. Or a bronze metallic, as it's called. Right? You're welcome. Make sure to clump some of them together so that they are like nice and organic. Alternate sizes. And that's the last step. Are you gonna wait for a different color? Yeah, you can definitely paint them in. Yeah. I don't have that. I didn't bring the paint with me. So I have just this. But if you want to try this, you can. Otherwise, if you want to take it home and paint it yourself, feel free. Anybody else want gold or silver or white? Okay, I'll give it to you after. Oh, the browns turned out cute.
You know what, like a little bit here and there, because the silver is very boring.
Nice. All right. So if you're finished, you can pull off your tape, pull it away from your painting though. So pull it away from your painting. That way you don't have to worry about it tearing in. Yeah, like that. There you go. Next week we are doing fruits. Fruits. Yeah, I think so. Like a still life, except we're not doing a still life. I'm still gonna walk you through one. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not leaving you guys by yourself. Yeah. So like we're not actually going to be looking at something. I'm going to bring in either a reference or a painting that I've already created, and then we're going to walk you through step by step on how to do that.
I should send you, I got a video of it. What is it called? The crowd thing? Where a bunch of people get together and decide what to do.
A flash mob?
Thank you.
Yeah.
But they do that
Thank you.
flash mob of the night walk.
That's so cool.
And it was so good.
I love that.
So good.
I also want to do a flash mob. We are finished for today. Thank you. That was yours.
Oh, look what you did. Okay. All of your,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had fun. Thank you. So I'm pulling away when I'm taking off my paint, my tape, so that I don't have to risk tearing in. Ooh,